James, this game appears to be maybe a little bit more physical up front, Auburn, than some of your other teams that you faced so far. What do you think this is going to tell you about your team?
Yeah, obviously these types of opponents, I think, Purdue obviously opening up with a Big Ten game, I think prepares us for this game maybe in a different way than if we hadn't played them. But we'll know a lot more about our team come Saturday night than we do at this stage. On the road, this atmosphere, this type of opponent, the athleticism that they have, we'll have a much better idea of kind of who we are.
James, you said last week that you didn't have an update yet on Keziah Izzard and Smith Filbert. Do you have an update on their status heading into this game?
No.
James, we saw Theo Johnson out there today. I know last week you said that you've been hopeful. Is he trending towards being able to play Saturday? Or?
Yeah, we're hopeful. No final decisions have been made yet, but we're hopeful. He's been doing a little bit more each day and a little bit more each week. So we're hopeful.
With the way Auburn likes to run the ball, how big of a test is this for your secondary, but primarily your safeties coming downhill and attacking the ball in the run game? How much do you like to see that early in the season?
Well, yeah, I think you hope that it's the front seven and not the safeties, because when the safeties are getting too involved, that's when you're susceptible for the play action pass and the big shots. But there'll be a time and place for that. But obviously you hope that you can be as productive as you need to be with the front seven and not include the safeties. You hope.
James, is this the kind of game where you maybe rotate your defensive tackles a little bit less just because you want your biggest, best guys in there?
Yeah, I mean, maybe compared to last week, but I don't know if probably compared to week one. I think this will be similar to what we have done, because you're not your best if you're playing 70 plays a game. We want to keep those guys as fresh as we possibly can. So I think it'll be probably a similar rotation to what we did against Purdue.
James, 2-game sample size now with Landon and Hunter over on the left guard spot. Is that something you could see sustaining pretty deep into the season if they both maintain their level of play?
Yeah, I think both of them deserve to play, and I think you're going to see some weeks where we have Hunter, take some reps at both guards. You're going to see some weeks where Hunter takes reps at one guard and then the center position to give Juice a blow. But Hunter deserves to play. Effner deserves to play. Those two guys we kind of view as starters, and each week, depending on how they prepare and what the matchup's like, will kind of determine, how much they play, whether they start, whether they rotate, whatever that may be.
James, don't know if I saw Katron Allen on the practice field today. Is he going to be available for Saturday?
Yeah, he was not out here today, but yeah, he'll be out here Saturday.
Has the running back rotation changed at all?
We have not sat down and talked as a staff about rotations at this stage.
Hey James, when the college football playoffs kick in, what would happen to games like this? Intersectional against highly ranked, or potentially highly ranked?
I don't think it I don't know. It really depends on the athletic director. It depends on what the conference is pushing, the commissioner at the conference is pushing. I don't know. I don't know if it will change it. It really depends on the AD's philosophy, the head coach's philosophy, and what the conference is trying to push. I'm not necessarily sure. I think it's going to be pretty, individualized.
James, so far this season, the defensive line has come up empty on the sack totals. Is that a natural byproduct of getting other positions involved in the pass rush, or is there something the front four needs to do differently in the games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want more production. I don't know if I would describe it the way you did, but yeah, we want more production. We want more tackles for loss. We want more sacks. We want more interceptions. All those disruptive type plays that are drive killers and momentum changers. So we need more of them. There's no doubt about it, and that's for our entire defense.
James, Johnny Dixon was announced as a starter Saturday over Jalen King. What went into that decision? Is that sort of still an ongoing battle?
Yeah, again, we talk about competition at every position. Johnny's playing well right now. Terry and the defensive staff and Manny felt like he did enough to have the opportunity to start. Really, rep-wise, it didn't really change a whole lot rep-wise for those two guys. But those are the type of competitions we hope to have kind of throughout our program and at every position. And as you know, I know you guys ask some of these questions. Very rarely am I going to tell you what the rotation is going to be before the game, whether I know or not, because I know Auburn is listening. So I probably won't get into a whole lot of those details in this setting.
James, through 2 games with Manny, we've seen a lot of different personnel groupings out there. What's been your kind of impression of all the guys that Manny gets involved? We see that 7 defensive back package out there. What's your impression of all those guys getting involved and how that's kind of played so far?
Yeah, in my mind, it's not a whole lot different. We had our 3-down package in the past. We're using that a little bit more, I think, on 3rd down. I think it creates a little bit more opportunities from a coverage perspective, from an athleticism perspective, and then from a blitz perspective as well. So that's probably the biggest change. Is we've done that in the past, but we're probably using it a little bit more. You got base, you got nickel, our old star, and then obviously our 3-down package, that we're using a little bit more now compared to in years past. So it's been good. I think it gets a lot of guys involved, which is always a good thing. And I think you're able to play to maybe some players' strengths and hide some deficiencies. A lot of times you may have a young player that's able to do certain things, and you're able to take advantage of them in certain personnel groups or game situations. So I've been pleased with it. But again, we do need some more of those. What we would call chaos plays, where you're getting a little bit more turnovers instead of PBUs and tackles for loss and sacks.
When you're facing a quarterback and you feel like you might have an advantage in a situation, how do you balance maybe not trying to throw too much at that guy to confuse him and possibly confuse your own defense or give people out of position versus kind of staying what you're true to?
Yeah, I think that's the fine line always, right? You need to do enough. You need to do enough on offense and defense to cause your opponent challenges, but not too much that you're not executing at a high enough level in what you do. Because the reality is, as we all know, the less you do, the better chance you have of executing it. So that's always the fine line, right? Of how big is the game plan, making sure that you're getting enough reps in practice to be able to execute those things, and making sure that you're able to execute those things versus all of the possible looks that you may get, whether it's an offensive formation or shift or motion, or whether it's a defensive front, or pressure.
2 more.
Trey Wallace has kind of an interesting homecoming this weekend, given that it's a team that Penn State doesn't play very often, not like a guy from Ohio or something like that. Have you seen any excitement out of him this weekend? Just overall, it seems like he's worked his way into at least some kind of role. How have you seen his development in year 2?
Yeah, I haven't really seen a change in his preparation. I mean, obviously it's cool. It's a cool opportunity for him to be able to go home, and it makes it easy to play in front of friends and family, which we are obviously aware of and happy for him with that situation. But his preparation and approach has been really good. I don't see a whole lot of change in the way he's doing it. But he is a guy that's coming on right now, that's gaining confidence in himself. The coaches are gaining confidence in him as well. And we're gonna need guys like him to continue to step up as the season goes on.
James, we all waited a while to see Akeem Beebe back in game action. I know your staff did too. What's your overall evaluation of where he is through 2 games and where he can go moving forward?
Yeah, I'm pleased, but I also think he's one of those guys, like we talked about, that I think can really be disruptive. And we're knocking the rust off a little bit. He hasn't played, in games in over a year. But what he did all camp and what he's done, so far this season in practice, has been really impressive, and he's shown some flashes in games. But I think he's capable of being a more disruptive force in there.
Thank you, Coach.